Hey loves, total confession. The only reason that I'm out of my house feeling so crappy is because I wanted an excuse to throw on a baseball cap and sunglasses and a scarf and kind of hide for this video. I had all intentions of, I had a cute little outfit I was going to wear, I was going to do my makeup, I was going to look like really pretty in New Year's Eve, but real life got in the way and your girl's recovering from the flu. And for some reason I felt worse this morning when I woke up versus like for the past week. This has been brewing since before Christmas Eve. So I don't know what's going on, but I think I wanted to do, since we're posting this on New Year's Eve, a couple of year in review exercises with you guys that I found from my favorite mentors. I did not make these up. I have two for you guys. I thought they were both equally as awesome. I don't know if I'm going to do one and then come back in a separate video and do a separate one maybe on New Year's Day, or just lump them all in here. I think I'm just going to start talking and see how I feel. Right now, a little crappy. These years in review exercises that I got, the both of them for you guys, are both, I chose ones that were short, would probably take 15, 20, max 30 minutes of your time, and were not too in depth. And I don't know, I just feel like we did the vision board thing yesterday. That's going to take a little bit of time. That's going to take a little bit of props. And for me personally, I don't like the year in review exercises that take hours and hours. And I don't know, I just feel like it's too much work. So, and I never really get much out of it. So this first one that I want to share with you is by a business mentor, and it's 3 separate questions, and they're really simple and were really good for me to do, just very reflective. The first one is, what did I do, create, or experience this year that I am really proud of? And the reason that she shared this question is because most of us, hello, me, I am the worst offender of this. Most of us are really self-critical, that we don't take the time to acknowledge our accomplishments. We don't see the good things that we do. We just think, oh, it's part of everyday life. For me personally, like one of the biggest examples I have of that in my life is, you guys saw on my vision board video that I posted yesterday that I was fitness modeling for a little while. Well, I also used to compete in fitness competitions, and it would take at least 6 months for me to get in the right shape and to diet down, and I would have to dedicate, it was like I had 2 full-time jobs. I would have to dedicate so much time into doing this and energy, and I loved doing it. And my very last competition, I wound up hurting myself and not being able to move on and do more. But my very last competition, I took first place. So I was awarded the title of state champion. And that also qualified me to compete on a national level. I was just competing at the state level at that point. And I walked off the stage, tunnel vision. Everyone was trying to congratulate me. Oh my God, this is amazing. You're the state champ. And I was like, shh. How am I going to improve to get on a national stage? What do I have to do? I did not take a minute to celebrate, to acknowledge all of the time and effort and energy that I had dedicated to this. Like how much stuff that I had to pass up. So many parties with friends and all that kind of stuff that I didn't go to because I needed to stay so strict on my regimen, and I didn't acknowledge any of that for a second. And I was just like, what's next? Not good enough. How am I going to get on a national stage? And prepping for nationals is when I got hurt and reevaluated and decided not to go through with that for a whole bunch of different reasons, but that was the main one. So it's just time for you guys to look back and acknowledge your accomplishments and the things that you created, or your experiences, or things that you did, or things that you had set out to do and you did. It could be minor, it could be major, whatever sticks out to you. I want you to write it down. I want you to head into the new year feeling like accomplished, feeling, hold please, flu, not feeling deflated or defeated, or like, oh, I set out to do all this stuff and I didn't do it. I want you to start the new year feeling like you've done stuff, feeling accomplished. So write down what comes to mind, and then sit and reflect, and what else comes to mind. I want you to write it all down so you can see it, so you can acknowledge it. Just take a couple of minutes to reflect, even if you think, this year sucked and I lost my husband to the system, or, for us, Demaya didn't go through, and bad. Just hang out, just reflect, and things will start coming to mind. Just start thinking, really trying to focus on those good things, what you accomplished. Start with the small things. I Didn't use all of my sick days this year because I wanted to hold on to them and save them for something good. Or I made it to Dallas with my girlfriends for the the prisoner family conference and the SPWF meetup. And I didn't think I would be able to afford to do that, but I saved money. I saved money, period. I made it to visit every single month this year. I want you guys to make sure as well, though, that you are prison wife and relationship stuff would be great. I would do 2 columns. I would do your prison related stuff and your relationship related stuff, and then just the you stuff, your accomplishments that you did for yourself. And I'll tell you why, because if you didn't watch yesterday's video or the day before's video, I have 2 videos where I'm talking about I had lost myself for a lot of years, and everything I did was dedicated to being in my relationship and making him feel the best that he could, and my goals could only be my goals with him, and I started to neglect myself. So I want you guys to focus on, yes, your accomplishments with him, and yeah, I made it to visit every single month this year, but also I want you to reflect on things that you did personally that you are proud of that you did, minus him, minus your relationship. So do 2 columns if you want to do one for prison wife stuff and one for yourself, but I want you to really focus on yourself too. And then another way you could do it is look through your calendar or your phone, look through your camera roll on your phone or photos if you take real ones, and see how much progress you made this year. Really get in touch with that sense of accomplishment and the things that, even if you didn't at that moment, the things that you deserve to celebrate. Then you'll have something also to talk about with people on New Year's Eve, you know, when your friends ask, like, how was your year? Well, a lot of times we grasp for the negative because I am so guilty of this. Because I feel like I have nothing to contribute, and I feel like I have nothing to talk about, and people are talking about their kids and their husbands and mom life, and they're like, how are you? And I'm like, life sucks. Or I'll just start complaining about the weather or about anything because it's something that I feel I have in common with people, and it's easy to get people to complain, but like, that's no fun. Then you start becoming the buzzkill. So when you do this, you could see, yeah, I have stuff to talk about, and that's not bragging, you guys. That is not bragging to be like, hey, I got my YouTube channel back going by advice of a mentor friend, and I hit 1,000 subscribers and 400 watch hours within the first couple of months. Like, that is something that I had set out to do. That's something that I wanted to do. Or I posted a video every single day because it was something that meant a lot to me to set a goal and to attain it, but also to help all of my prison wife friends. So I'm really proud of myself for doing that. I accomplished it because I set out a goal to do. You know, I increased my, I don't know if I have any gym goals. Oh, I got up a rope. I set out to climb a rope, and I got up to the top of a rope like a little monkey, like a fireman. So that was my gym goal that I set out to do. So start thinking about those things. Number 2, what mistakes did you make that taught you something? What lessons did you learn that you can leverage and use what you learned from them to do something better with your life? So this one is really important, because often in the moment when you're making the mistake, or you've just made the mistake and you're recovering and trying to bounce back from it, it's hard to separate yourself from the lesson, right? All you're doing basically is beating yourself up and cleaning up the mess that came from making the mistake. So now that there's some distance and separation between whatever you made the mistake in the past year and now, and you could see that the way that the mentor said this, and I thought it was so beautiful, is not only is hindsight 2020, but it also can create like a thick skin for you, so you don't have to relive whatever horrible feelings came along with that mistake. So it's a blessing. You can look back on the year and ask yourself, what are some things that just didn't go so well? What mistakes did I make? What can I learn from and leverage from this mistake? How can I do better next time? How can I use that experience to grow into a better, wiser person? It's so good if you take the time to do this, because then you can figure out how you're going to go into 2019, go into the following year, a better person. I know for me, like I had trusted some people that I shouldn't have, and I had dedicated a lot of time to them. And I thought they were going to help me. I thought they were helping me out of the kindness of their heart, and it winds up that I was being used. It winds up that I just put my trust in the wrong not just one, like a wrong few people that weren't together, like they didn't know each other. But it's kind of a theme in my life. I have a lot of, I just trust people blindly sometimes. So that's a huge lesson that I learned, and I'm going to take that into 2019 with me to be a little bit more selective in the people that I trust, and I listen to their advice, and try to figure out what motives they have for helping me, because not many people do something for nothing anymore, and I had to learn that lesson hardcore. And then number 3 is, what am I willing to let go of? Is it time to let go of crap that is holding you back? And it starts, not is it, it is, I read that backwards. It's time to let go of the crap that is holding you back, and it starts with a decluttering, both physical and emotional. What has been hanging around your to-do list for years that you just never got around to do? What can you get rid of, not do, cross off, or just drop because you really just don't want to do it anymore, or you don't have time, or it's not bringing you joy? Get rid of anything that isn't aligned with you anymore. What isn't going to benefit you in the future? What resentments, angers, hurts are you willing to let go of? What guilt, shame, and embarrassments have you been hanging on to? What stories are you telling yourself that no longer serve you? Are you saying you're too old, too young, not successful enough, not smart enough, or whatever excuses that you're making? What excuses? What stories are you ready to let go of now? Who would you be if you let go of those lies to yourself? It's not till you let go of these things that you'll be able to look back, like that hindsight deal is 2020. You'll be able to see how much they were actually holding you back. So, wow, I have so many of those in so many different areas. I have people that I've had to let go. I have people that I still need to let go of. I have excuses, too old, it's too late in life. I don't have the knowledge to do this. I don't have the bandwidth to do this. I need to put my energy into other things, so I can't focus on them. And also, if you guys watch my very first vlogmas video, I think I posted it on December 1st. It was about how I had set some goals, and I set them a little bit differently, and then things had changed. So I rerouted myself, and I either dropped the goals or I changed the goal. I don't remember what the goal exactly was. So what have you set out to do that you're just like, nah, I don't feel like doing that anymore? Or no, I tried to do it and it just doesn't feel right anymore. I don't even want that anymore. So those are the things. And then this is a hard one for some of you guys to swallow, but this came up on the Strong Prison Wives the other day. Is it time for your relationship to go? Are you in a controlling relationship? Are you in an abusive relationship? Is he holding you back? Do you just not want to be here anymore? Is prison wife life just not serving you anymore? And that might sound crazy coming from me, somebody who's been doing this for so long and helps people through this. But if your relationship is holding you back, if first and foremost, if it's abusive, I am the first to tell you, you gotta go. If it's controlling, I am the first to tell you, it's gotta go. But I can't sit here and say you have to stay no matter what. If it just doesn't feel right to you anymore, I'm the first to tell you, and I'm sorry, I hope your husbands don't get mad at this, but if it's just not right for you, then why are you staying? Life is way too short for you to stick around out of guilt or out of fear or out of shame or out of any other emotion that is not a positive one. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. I have another similar really good exercise that I want to share with you guys for New Year's. If this one just didn't work for you, if you don't have time to do it, if you want to do both. And I might make this video later and either post it on the same day or post it on New Year's Day, because some people, I actually used to really enjoy doing exercises on New Year's Day. I had one where I would write down all of the stuff I wanted to leave in the past. Hey guys, I'm back for 1 second. I just ran into the grocery store and the lines were out of control. So while I was waiting in line, I looked at the number. I just said in my video that number 2, I had a second person that I was going to come back because I wasn't feeling so well. But as I read it, it just fit so into this video that I wanted to put them together, and then I'll come back on New Year's Day and I'll share that exercise with you that I started to say in this one, and then I decided to wait. And we could do it together on New Year's Day because I think it's a good one to do on New Year's Day. But anyway, so the second person is very similar to the first questions that I just shared. But what he does is that it's Tim Ferriss. He goes through his calendar and he looks at every week for the past year. And he looks at activities, he looks at commitments, and he looks at the things that he did with people throughout every single week of the last year. And he makes 2 columns on a piece of paper, and he puts in all of those commitments and the people and the activities that were positive in one column, and then in the other column things that were negative. So for example, on October 3rd, if I went to visit and it was wonderful, then I'm going to put that in the positive column. But if on November 22nd, I went out to dinner with a friend who's kind of an energy suck, and she complained the whole time. And by the way, I'm just making these up. I'm pulling these dates out of thin air. This did not happen to me. But if that happened and, it was just a horrible experience, and that's a friend that this is kind of common, and she's been doing this every single time we talk, it's always complaints, then I would put that in the negative column. And then eventually you're going to have a long list once you go through your year. He said this only takes 15 or 20 minutes. And then you're going to see what activities make up the top 20% of your positive list. And you're going to make sure that you do more of those this year. And the way that you're going to do it is you're going to start scheduling them now. So you could start prepaying for activities. You could start making plans with those people that brought you positive things. You could start planning, like for me, I know I keep going back to this, but it's something that I really, really, really enjoyed in 2018 was the Prisoner Family Conference. So I couldn't do this when I was looking, but it was too early, but I could start looking for tickets, airline tickets, or I could put a note on my calendar to start looking for airline tickets. I could put in for the days off of work that I need to go to the conference this year. It's in October. And then you're also going to do the same thing on the negative side. What do you need to start cutting out? What activities do you need to stop going to? What people were more of an energy suck than added anything positive into your life? What commitments did you make that you just didn't want to do and you felt like they were more of a burden? You want to make sure that you do not schedule that stuff this year. So, and obviously there are things that you're going to have to do at points that you don't want to do, like taking the kids to the doctor or whatever that may be. But you want to take the top 20% of the things on negative column. Actually, I would think that you want to take 100% of them. But, the things that you do not have to do that you don't want to do, the things that you added in that you can chop out and cut them out of your year moving forward. So I thought that was so cool. It also is a really good reminder to schedule things so that and put them on your calendar. I live and die by my Google Calendar in my phone. I have an Android. So then you can look at it next year and you can do this exercise, because I think that it's going to be super helpful to make sure that you stay out of a depressive state, especially for people like us who tend to kind of walk a line of depression at all times. So you could pre-schedule stuff so you do actually do those things that are bringing you joy and happiness and that you love to do, and you could cut out those other things and those other people and those other commitments that you just aren't into. Those activities, like let's say you went ice skating with your friends and you fell and you hated it and you were cold the whole time and you couldn't warm up afterwards and it was just so horrible of an experience. Don't go ice skating this year. Maybe try something different like rock climbing. Who knows? So I think that is all I wanted to add. So you guys keep staying strong, keep loving strong, keep supporting one another through this journey, because you're one day and now 1 year and one vlogmas and one season and one so much fun stuff closer to this all being behind you and making yourself better, you guys. Bettering every year should be a better year. Every year, even though you find those mess ups and you see them in hindsight, you're like, okay, but I learned from that. And the lesson that I'm taking into this next year is this. So it is all to better yourself. Lots of love from my heart to yours. I will see you guys in the next one.